Hi everyone, and welcome to Thrive in South Africa, the ultimate how-to YouTube channel on thriving and not just surviving in South Africa. Today we're going to dive straight into another question. Should I be getting a wireless IP camera or a wired CCTV kit or a CCTV system? So we'll look at a couple of the pros and cons and then final verdict on which one to pick. Firstly, a Wi-Fi IP camera. That's typically your pan, tilt, or PTZ, or PT cameras as they call them, pan, tilt, or zoom. And they've usually got audio. These are sold as standalone systems, whereas your wired CCTV kit typically has a DVR, cabling, and multiple cameras. So a standalone system versus the DVR and cabling. In this case, standalone is much easier to install. DVR and cabling usually done by accredited installers. Wi-Fi IP camera records on an SD card. An SD card is usually limited to the size. You can get quite large SD cards, but anything that records on a hard drive will automatically be bigger, and it will also be easier to extract the footage from a hard drive. So in this case, that is better. It's easy to add on an app. In this case, it's easy to add cameras on the DVR, and you'll have an app. Better in that sense. A Wi-Fi IP camera costs between 1,500 and 2,000 Rand per Wi-Fi IP camera. Whereas a wired CCTV, you're looking at 500 Rand to 1,000 Rand per camera. Cheaper in that sense. The initial costs are a lot lower though, because that is your only cost, and the SD card. So initial costs are low, initial costs are a lot higher because you need a DVR, you need a hard drive, and you need the cabling and the camera. So that's the better option there. You still need power cables though. So in other words, wherever you put your IP camera, you're going to run a power cable to it. Whereas with a wired system, you're going to run your power and your signal cable together. A max of 4 cameras on the app. Most apps limit you to 4 cameras, and then you have to start paying for the app. A wired CCTV can have capacity of a 4 channel, an 8 channel, a 16 channel, a 32 channel. Corporates go as big as a 256 channel. Wi-Fi IP is only for indoor. It's very seldom that you'll find that they are built for outdoors. They're not weatherproof. They do have audio though, audio enabled, and as I mentioned, the pan and the tilt function. Wired CCTV, usually indoor and outdoor. The cheaper ones usually don't have audio. So our final verdict, if you want a max of 1 or 2 cameras, I would go with the wireless IP system. It's simple enough to install, and if you're not going to be adding more cameras, it's not going to cost you too much. Wired CCTV, if you're going for more, if you are looking at future expansion. Final thoughts. Decide if you want a permanent installation. In other words, you're going to be using it for the next 5 to 10 years and adding on gradually as you go, or is mobility required? So you want to put it in the kitchen today, tomorrow you want to monitor some other area. Budget, if you initially want to pay that amount per camera and it's done, that would be your better option. If you're looking at expanding into the future and you've got budget going forward, I would go with the wired CCTV system. And lastly, final tip, subscribe for more videos like these. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/thrive-in-SA. I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe, stay informed, stay in South Africa, and thrive in South Africa.